Hey y'all, this is Buck here. I'm about to show you how to fillet up a catfish. I just caught this catfish about 30 to 45 minutes ago. Then after I caught him, I bled him. The way that you bleed a fish is you cut the gill is right here. You just take your knife, cut right there, and then throw them into the water or in your live well or into a bucket. And then the bleeding will help the meat get all nice and crispy white, and you won't have to deal with the blood so much in a bloody fish. Catfish are an extremely bloody fish, so now I'm going to show you how I personally like to clean my catfish. So what I like to do is I like to take my knife, make a slit here so I can know where the bone is, and then I slice all the way up to the head. You cannot get anything right here. You hear that? That's bone of the catfish head. So now I take my knife and then I cut right here across the head, and then I take it all the way down to the backbone. Do you hear that noise? That's the backbone. I take it all the way down to the backbone. This is a 2-foot catfish weighing about 5 pounds. Perfect eater size. Absolutely perfect. I take it. Now I've passed the anal hole. The anal hole, it tells you when the gut cavity right here has stopped. So now you take your knife all the way through, and you're gonna just ride the backbone all the way. I know some people like to use a fillet knife, but I personally can fillet a fish with any kind of knife. This is a 2.5-inch stiletto that I like to use when I fillet fish, because it fits well in the hand, and it's basically, you can basically fillet a fish any way that you want to fillet it, with any kind of knife that you feel comfortable with. The whole point of filleting a fish is how you can be comfortable, and I feel comfortable with any kind of knife. I take it, and then you see how the meat is not so bloody because I bled the fish. I take it, all the way down. You see how nice and white that flesh is. Now I take it all the way back up. I then rotate the fish. See how I've left hardly any meat on the bones. That's what you want. And there is multiple ways that you can clean a catfish. Absolutely, you can do it any way you want to do it. I personally like to skin it after I've cleaned it. That's the way that I've done it hundreds of times. Take it. Now you see how it is right there. And always, I cannot stress this enough. Make sure your knife is always sharp. because a sharp knife is a lot easier to work with, and it is also a lot safer to work with than a dull knife. You see how I'm barely just working with the knife. I'm barely putting any pressure on. There is a beautiful, absolutely gorgeous slab of catfish right there. And now I'm going to do the same thing, exact same thing as I did on this side, on the other side of the catfish. I turn it, I make sure that my catfish is clean of all debris and anything that will taint the meat. See how nice and clean it is. That's another thing. Always make sure where you do your cleaning at and wherever it is nice and clean. Now you take your knife, poke it into the skin, just easy. Don't force it. If you force it, you will ruin your fillet and ruin the fish. You just push it along the backbone. And we will also be checking the contents of the catfish's stomach, so we can see what this catfish has been eating. I just take it right on up just like that, all the way to the head, and then I turn my knife just like that. And then I just run it right along the backbone. Oh, and just like that. And now that I've gotten to the anal fin, I'm going to push my knife all the way through. Just like I did on the other side. Running it along the backbone. All the way down. And then I flip it, and then if y'all are wondering why I am wearing a glove, is because I cut my hand. I normally don't wear gloves when I fillet fish, but for safety reasons and for health precaution, because catfish lay on the bottom and they are in the mud, so I'm trying to keep myself healthy because I don't want any bacteria from the catfish going into my hand. Now I take it and I cut right up the head. just like this. And yes, I will be taking the belly meat of the catfish because it is of decent size and I enjoy eating catfish belly. I think that is one of the best parts of the catfish is the belly of the catfish. I'm just taking the fillet right off. Just like that. Now you got a second slab of catfish. Now how I always take my fillets off first before I enter the gut cavity. The way that I like to take my belly off my catfish is I take it, I go past the side fin, and then along the bottom of the rib, just like that. And you can see that the belly meat is nice and thick. Take it, all the way off on both sides. I do the same thing on both sides. See how nice and beautiful that looks? Alright, then and now you have three absolutely pieces of catfish, just like that. And it looks like the stomach was empty, so he was a hungry boy. And that is how you clean a catfish. This is something that when you clean a fish, this is called the gallbladder, right here. You do not want to puncture this. You puncture this, all your meat will be spoiled because it is basically the cleaning function for the body of the catfish. It is no good to eat. It is called the bile. And now that the catfish is clean, and yes, this catfish was a big old catfish. My hand fits over it. The head of the catfish is as big as my hand. Set that aside. Make sure your work area is nice and clean. Now I'm going to take the skin off of the catfish. See how nice and clean it is. And yes, I will rinse this off. I like to take it off just like this. I like to leave a little handle for my fingers to hold. It is a little hard with the glove. I like to put it on the edge of my work surface and just run my knife all the way through along the skin and of the catfish. just like this. And I like to, once I get a good little portion of it skinned, I like to poke a little hole and make sure, definitely make sure, to not cut yourself. You see how I've cut a little slit in the skin? Now I can stick my finger through and I can work the catfish much better. I like to leave a little bit on the skin. Just like that. You got, because catfish have a bloodline, and now you have a nice, clean, filleted fish. No bones, catfish, and also make sure that there's no pin bones. And in catfish, they have no pin bones. So now this is a nice, clean fillet fish. And now I'm gonna do the rest, and then we'll be cooking it. See you later. Please like and subscribe.
Oh shit, I ain't even press record. I'm bullshitting.